Hi, Mike Sarah here from Customer States. If you're searching for the highest quality additives, lubricants, or cleaners for your automotive, heavy equipment, agricultural, or industrial machinery needs, look no further than the Justice Brothers line of products. From lubing your chainsaw, performing a complete fuel system treatment and decarb service on a customer's vehicle, keeping that forklift forking and lifting, or just need a can of that famous JB80 penetrant to persuade a rusty bolt, Justice Brothers has you covered. Travis Ferris of Hit Distributing is not only Southern California's authorized Justice Brothers distributor, but also a great friend of mine. Over the years, Travis has helped me and my dealership with anything and everything we need, including all the lines of Justice Brothers products and even equipment to perform the various services we may need for our specific application. HIT stands for honesty, integrity, and trust, so you know when you contact Travis, that's exactly what you'll get. That, combined with Justice Brothers supplying superior quality automotive products since the 1940s and 75 years in the racing industry, you will have absolutely everything at your disposal to get the job done. Justice Brothers is proudly made in the USA, and they have a satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Justice Brothers has the best quality products over any other competitor, and they'll gladly tell you that themselves. If you live in the Southern California area, call my man Travis Ferris at 805-208-7818. And if you don't, call him anyway and tell him I said thanks. And visit justicebrothers.com to learn more about their complete line of products. Justice Brothers, America's brand for quality.
Welcome everybody back to another fantastic episode of Customer States Podcast,
where we do nothing but make mouth noises.
And we talk about everything in the automotive industry, Eric.
Oh,
and
no,
before we get started, so we don't make any more erroneous mouth noises,
we need to moisten our mouths.
And let's start with cracking a bowl for a happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Nicely done.
Oh, I came all over myself.
You got a little on my leg as well.
I'm so sorry.
Friendly fire.
It's okay.
Who's that?
Hashtag sell the bell.
Who's that?
Who was that?
So again, thank you guys for joining us on this lovely Friday.
Voice.
My name is Mike Sarah.
Hi.
I am
Mike.
a technician.
You are.
To the left of me is Eric Montenegro.
Oh, hello. I'm also a technician. Heavy line.
Wow.
Fjord. 4.5 years. To my left
is Ali Paul. That's me, you guys.
The ostentatious Ali Paul.
I was thinking lately, and like you always introduce me, and then I say my name again.
You do.
That's kind of annoying. I think maybe not annoying, but it is.
I mean, when you're vain,
repetitive.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm doing it.
Redundant.
Repetitive. Redundant. Redundant sounds better.
Yeah,
okay.
Fine.
I'm Ali Paul.
And to your left,
a warranty administrator for Volkswagen and Mazda.
Nobody.
And to my left, there's a hole, an empty space,
A hole in my heart.
in all of our collective
she's
hearts.
got a few of them.
So we've brought someone in to fill that hole today.
That's what he said.
Oh my God, is Will.
Hey.
Can I say your last name?
Sure, if you want.
If you can pronounce it.
Will Tomzik, right?
No, that's wrong.
Tom Zach.
There you go.
Bitch, you fired.
I only read it. I don't think I ever say it.
Try spelling it.
Yeah,
Tomczak.
Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah.
Spelled on the board in front of your face.
Oh, well, I didn't look at that, so I get extra
I did that on
bonus
purpose.
points.
There's more C's and Z's in there than
there's
should be.
an extra C in there, but you know what? The first C is silent anyways, so the second one can be silent as well.
Yep. What do you do, Will?
I'm a certified Volkswagen technician.
Certified?
That sounds fancy.
That's fucking awesome.
Is
At
everyone
least that's what I have to say whenever I make the little videos for the customers.
Certified technician,
certified.
Will Tomczak.
I'm certified.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I'm certified.
Eric, are you?
Certified bitch.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hashtag certified. Yes, I'm certified.
Certified 100% that bitch.
Yes.
So we had a very interesting thing that happened in the appointments this morning.
People are stupid.
Yes, they are very, very interesting people out there. And again, like I said, I love to read through the appointments in the morning and just kind of see what's coming into the shop just so I have an idea of what's going on.
Metiche.
And one of the simple oil change services that you think that we would have was the first line said something to the effect of customer states oil life goes down quickly.
Tell them to stop driving so fast.
Well, and
Just saying.
goes down quickly as compared to what? As if the vehicle is sitting in the driveway. So
Yeah.
I had made the joke like, well, just don't drive as much and
Right.
it won't go down as
What
fast.
does that even mean?
It's-
It's based off of your driving habits, you dumb bitch.
Driving habits, mileage, and time. There's nothing else. Like it's not like we can reset the software to. Oh, you're right.
Let's slow this down a little bit.
You know what? It was calculated at 3 times speed. I'm very sorry. This is a known problem. No, there's nothing for that. You're driving the vehicle a whole bunch. Like congratulations.
Right.
Enjoy your vehicle.
Balls to the
But
wall.
you know, just some of the things that people complain about, or some of the things that people don't complain about. You know, you'll be on a road test with a customer for some sort of, engine concern or transmission concern or whatever. And meanwhile, the whole car is bouncing and jittering around, making squeaks and noises and rattles. And like, oh, well, I'm not worried about that. But this is the main problem right here. What do you mean you're not worried about that?
It's been doing that. This is
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, well, I'm used to that problem. This is a new problem.
Exactly.
This seems a little more concerning.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
it's just it's very interesting to see what people
Some
point to
people's
and
kids.
don't.
How do you
feel
educate?
I feel like some of that stuff can be like nipped in the bud before they even get there. Like that's
Oh,
something
by the
like that.
writer.
Well, yeah, whoever. I mean, I get it. If the appointment taker, she can't do that. She doesn't know anything about that. But like some of this stuff should be stopped like before the customer even drives all the way to the dealer and gets on the service drive, and the service advisor's like, well, that's actually normal for this. There's no need for, debate. You can take care of that before it gets written up, parked on the board, to the technician, pulled into the bay, only to no, it's a waste of everybody's fucking time.
Right.
It should be taken care of ahead of time, but
Well, does
What do
the
we know?
service writer always talk to the person, or are they the
Yes.
customer, or is it just
Yes.
before they arrive at the dealership? It's not just the person taking the appointment.
wait, what?
So when the customer calls the dealership,
Right.
is it just the
appointment
appointment
taker,
taker?
that's it. Yes, that's
so it can't be nipped in the bud because your process doesn't address.
That's why I said this in this one instance, with our new appointment taker, she obviously doesn't know anything about that, so she can't. But sometimes the advisors do take phone calls, or
Right.
even if it gets to the service drive, you can stop it right there, and you don't have to write up the vehicle and have to get it in the service and have to have, you can avoid all that. But what do I know? I'm just a lowly technician.
What do I know? I'm just a warranty administrator.
Yeah, you are.
We
You're
don't
a
have
warranty
a-
wizard.
I am a wizard with 2
You're a wizard, Harry.
Wizard, Ali.
Thank you. I feel, a lot of rich people have that kind of, mentality. Then everything is wrong.
It is interesting how the rich, sort of stampede.
You can do it.
Stampede.
Stampedal.
Okay.
Stampoodle.
Oh, someone didn't have their phone on
Sorry.
silent.
Stop.
I sent the text though, so.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Okay, so Rich Slob, Ali, is that you? Who's
That's actually Will's story
Oh
on
my
the
goodness.
board.
Has
Will.
a story. We want to hear your story.
Oh,
So,
I shouldn't have sent that to Will.
so I first want to start off with, if you're bringing your car to the dealership, like it doesn't have to be spotless, but just like
Have some consideration.
have some consideration.
Don't leave your fucking bottle of chew in the cup holder.
Oh, this is way worse.
Alaire.
This is way worse.
It wasn't my bottle. It was
was-
just associated very distantly with me.
He's coming back, by the way.
So,
He's in ever since, yeah.
Sorry, Will.
no, it's okay.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. He's in ever since, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to
I'm a
address
little
that.
circle
distracted
back
at
to
the
that.
moment, anyways.
Oh my god. So remind us to circle back to the ever since you customer that Ali knows.
Yes.
Wait, the customer that Ali knows?
Yes.
The ever
We have
since
a
yeah.
first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Customer that Ali knows.
So, so yeah, just be considerate of that because, like, we have to be inside your car. And we had this one car come in that was so disgusting that I wore a mask and I've had to put gloves on because
That's so gross.
there was not only a cup in the center console filled with cigarette butts, but
Open
And it
cup?
was open.
An open cup.
Open cup,
Not a
Was there
water
liquid
bottle.
in
not a
there?
water bottle. Yeah, there was a little bit of water that had mold in it
That's disgusting.
with cigarette butts in there. Those cigarette butts all over the center console.
Everywhere.
The rear seat completely filled with just junk and trash. Passenger seat completely filled. And it was like,
Was this a beetle?
no, it wasn't, which I get why you say that. But listen,
Are they no?
Stereotyping it as all.
this was a Jetta, the 1.8 Jetta,
Okay.
you know. And,
Still a chick's car.
Yeah.
Wait,
Plenty
no.
of
it had
dudes
nothing-
drive
yes.
Jettas.
I mean, I have a GLI, and that's a Jetta, so
That's why I said that.
But it's a fancy Jetta. Oh, see?
it is a fancy
That was
Jetta.
a direct dig.
It was.
I had a lot of friends with Jettas.
Put
They
your
were very
shovel away.
interesting
You
people.
gotta get a Jetta.
My dad had a
I'm
Jetta.
gonna jet out of here.
Oh, that's a good one. Hold on.
Jesus.
But this car was so bad.
Oh, God.
It like
Spray the whole thing with
okay. So just to
Lysol.
give you an idea, when the guy rolled up in the drive, he was smoking a cigarette with all the windows up inside the car.
Wonderful.
And he hotboxed, like you could see, he opened the door and just plumes of
Smoke,
cigarette
just
smoke comes out of the car, right?
He's gonna die very
Can't even
soon.
get a contact time from
doesn't-
that.
With
that doesn't
cigarettes?
yeah. And that really doesn't bother me because I used to smoke a lot.
Right.
And
We used to be smoking
But
buddies.
when
Yeah.
why don't you crack your window? Why do you have to leave it enclosed in the car like that?
I
don't get it. I smoke regularly and I smoke in my vehicles, but my windows are cracked open so that the smoke immediately goes right out. I don't get it.
yeah, I mean, we all have our routines. Whenever I used to smoke, like, crack the windows a little bit, put the floor blower on,
Yeah.
the air comes out, pushes it out.
I pop
do
the
that for
sunroof
years,
up,
But
If I crack the series of windows just right, it makes it.
it's perfect. Like, you blow the smoke out, you can see the smoke go right out the window. It's easy. But anyways, I pull the car in, and like maybe 2 hours later, I start feeling a little itchy
Oh, gross.
in my throat. And I'm like, oh,
No.
You're like, oh, hell no.
So like, I'm like, what's going on? So the next day I show up to work and it's way worse.
Oh, shit.
I call out for 2 days because I was so like, I was
Yeah,
just
you're
like,
worried about it.
I was like bedridden. I went and got a COVID test and all that stuff. And it was all negative.
Wait,
but
you
I
were
was
just itchy, or there was like something else going on as well?
I got a full on, like, I lost my voice.
Oh,
Like,
fuck. That's bad.
I barely could get out of bed. Like, it was bad. And so one of my coworkers, Ricky,
We love
this is-
him.
yes, I lost my train of thought there for a second.
You got sick.
So I got sick, and Ricky does these little things on Instagram where, like another car that's super dirty kind of thing. He always does his little reel things. So while I was gone out sick, he did his little video. He ended up getting sick.
Oh
So that gives us the fact that we got sick from the same car.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And
It's
so
a petri dish.
That's
yeah,
disgusting.
it was disgusting.
Call the CDC. Have that
And
thing picked up.
this is the kicker. He's a millionaire. The guy that owns the car.
Really?
He's actually a movie star. I looked him up. It's true, and I didn't believe my service writer when he told me. So I looked
Like
up.
a B-list
looked
or
up-
C-list movie star?
No, well, probably now. He was really big back in the day. He did movies with, like, I'm not going to name him specifically, but he did movies with like Jackie Chan and stuff. Did martial art movies and all that kind of stuff.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No.
Dick
But
Van
he
Dyke.
lives right up here in the mountains here. in Newbury Park.
Really?
But
It's all
I
adding up.
didn't believe my service writer, so I looked up the address on the RO, and it's a $14 million home that he.
Oh my God.
And this car, and he'd even do the repairs that I suggested.
Looks like he
Like,
lives in squalor.
That's why he has $14 million home, because
exactly.
he's cheap as fuck.
Like, I just couldn't. I couldn't
Hold
believe
on.
Hashtag sell about.
Hashtag sell about.
it. Yeah.
Jesus. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
but like the car, it's really not safe to drive on the streets. Like
What
the
was wrong with
subframe's
it?
completely broken on it.
really? What happened? Did he hit something or?
Well, like I guess he has a ranch up there, and I'm not sure
okay.
if he
So, yeah,
like
it was
he bottomed out
off-road.
somewhere, but the whole front end was just completely torn up. He just did the very basic,
Bare minimum.
Like
Bare minimum
aesthetic
to get it.
repairs.
yeah. Well, no aesthetic, just stuff to make it to where it passes smog. He's like, that's all I want. So any of the safety things, anything like that, no, he doesn't want to deal with that. He just wants to get it to where it passes.
Wow.
Because there was a check engine light. Because from when he hit the front,
yeah.
it ripped the grill shutter off the front, ripped the temperature, like ambient air temperature out,
Right, yeah.
severed the lines. Like the quartz report came back and just completely cut off the line. So then I had to go on
Wow,
high
this thing
wire
was beat to shit.
and like look up
Please tell me you
everything.
took pictures of this.
I do have some pictures.
I want to
You can send them over to us. We'll post them on the,
We
on
will
the
post.
Okay. Yes,
Podcast
definitely.
page.
Okay.
I'm sure there was something we were supposed to post last week. Did we post it?
I don't know. There's something every week we're supposed to post.
No.
I'm going to put it on the notes.
Have you ever turned away a customer's vehicle because it was so disgusting?
I'm sure we haven't.
I personally haven't,
asking
but this
Will.
one was very, very close. I wanted to,
Yeah.
but it's just like one of those things. It's like I just got to do my job, kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know?
but if you can't do
Gotta
it
get
safely,
that
now look what
money.
happened.
I know I got sick. I lost 2 days of
Do you
pay.
regret not turning it away now?
I do,
Oh my god!
especially since after that, then he decided to do other things with his car.
What?
Like what?
Please
No, so-
elaborate.
So I got a little bit carried away with the first part of the story because those repairs that we did, he initially said no to.
Okay.
He's like, I don't want to do the repairs, so we pushed it out. It stayed there for literally a month.
You pushed it out.
Well-
You had to push it out.
No, well, when I say that, I mean
Moved
Okay,
it
you
out
got,
of
you
the
got it out of your
moved
stall.
it out.
Yeah, parked it. Okay.
But he literally left it there for a month and a half. It was just sitting there.
What?
And
Well,
then
I'm
all
sure
of
with
a
the
all of a
14
sudden,
million
He's driving his silver arrow around.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't care.
and then he ends up calling back. He's like, oh, well, I want to do the bare minimum to where I can get it smogged. Because originally he was just like, I don't want to do any repairs. I'll just drive it on the
How old is
ranch.
this damn Jetta?
It's like a 2013, 14.
What? 13. So this would have been the first year he had to smog it. That's why. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So,
God, people are
yeah,
stupid.
I do regret not rejecting that job, but
Oh, I'm sorry you got sick from that. That's gross.
So speaking of rejecting jobs, I don't know if you have to deal with this, Will, so much in your at your dealership, but when in Ford Motor Company we have something that's quote unquote called purposeful obsolescence.
That's a thing everywhere, I feel like.
Thank God.
yeah, can you explain that to me? Because I have no idea what you just said.
Are you
He's
are
speaking
you
Greek.
having sarcasm right now with
No,
me? Or
no,
Neither one of us.
I have no
understand
idea
what
what
It's
you're
you're
like
talking
it's
about.
kind of a known thing. It's like with iPhones too.
We've
Like
never heard that
they
term before.
purposefully make something obsolete so they can sell you more of the thing.
So round about 10 years after a vehicle goes out of production, they stop making parts for that vehicle. So guess what? You can't fix it. But might I send you over to the service department or the sales department right over here, and you could buy a brand new Ford vehicle. So we had a customer today that called in about his 2001 F-150 5.4 liter 4x4 7700 series, and it's one of only 400 or 500 trucks made. And you know he's having transmission problems, and he wants to know how much it is to rebuild the transmission. I said, well, I mean, it kind of depends what's wrong with the transmission. I can't give you, well, I don't know. I don't understand why you just can't give me a quote to rebuild it. Well, I mean, what do you want me to replace? Well, whatever's broken in it. How do I know it's broken in it until I tear it all apart? Well, I think you would have done this before. Yeah, I have, but it's kind of a case-to-case basis when you're talking about rebuilding a transmission. Well, doesn't it just all come in a box of parts? Sir, there's like 800 parts in this transmission. What do you want me to replace? So we're going roundabout on this phone call, and I said, listen, this is a very old vehicle. He's like, He's like, yeah, I've got 425,000 miles on this vehicle. I said, well, so first of all, if you're talking about a 425,000 mile transmission, I recommend replacing the transmission versus overhauling it, just because it's a better warranty for you. Well, no. I had the transmission replaced before. Oh, okay. Yeah, at about 60,000 miles, the transmission went out and I had it replaced. So you're telling me that that transmission is still over 300,000 miles on it? Yeah. Okay, so we're still at the same point of conversation where we're not rebuilding this transmission. I would be more than happy to get you a quote for this thing. And he just wants to go on and on about this, that, and the other. And meanwhile I'm taking up the phone from the receptionist. Sir, I have all your information. Let me give you a call back in a little bit after I do some homework, and I'll get you a quote to replace this transmission for you. Go to the parts department and start looking at the parts. Obsolete. Well, just for shits and giggles, let's go through the internals and like see what I can get. I know I'm going to need this and I'm going to need that. I know I'm going to need this. Obsolete. So I go call the guy back and I said, sir, I'm sorry, but unfortunately the transmission is obsolete and almost all of the internal parts are obsolete. So there's really nothing I can do for you at the dealership level. Well, and I said, at that point, you're probably better off going to an independent shop to have it done. Well, how's an independent shop going to help me out if the parts are obsolete? I said, well, the independent shop doesn't use Ford parts. Well, why can't you do that? Well, sir, I can't warranty your 300 something thousand mile transmission with aftermarket parts from whatever. Like we don't do that. Oh, that makes sense. I told him like we don't do that at the dealership level. You're more than, and I gave him some local trans shop names. I said these guys are great. Tell them that I sent you. But unfortunately I can't do anything for you here. And it's just it's really hard to tell people like I'm sorry, but I can't work on this vehicle because either A, it's disgusting, or B, I just can't get parts for it. And people don't understand, well, what do you mean you can't get parts for it? I thought this was a Ford dealership. And they like look up at the sign like with like purpose in their eyes, like trying to like let you know, I thought this was a Ford dealership. And I'm sorry, they just don't make these parts anymore. There are none of these parts anymore. I don't know what to tell you.
Authorized Ford dealership, which means you have to put manufacturer parts, original parts.
People will come and be like, I need a taillight for a 2006 F-150. Okay, well, it'll be here in about 2 days. What do you mean? You don't have it in stock? No, sir. It's 2022. We don't stock an 06 left taillight for an F-150. I'm sorry. Like we don't stock that. Jesus. Just people think like we have a giant warehouse in this small parts department. I don't know.
Well, they don't know. They're not at the dealership level. They don't understand how that stuff works.
I mean, but you would have to think like people know there's like a million parts for like each individual car, and like we can't stock every part for every single thing, let alone 10 years back.
Because they're only thinking about their car. They don't understand how that works.
I guess I don't know. I'm biased just because I've always been in this industry. This is the way I think about it.
Think about your Grandma Joan. She doesn't know any better. She's just driving her car every day. She doesn't give a fuck about what the other people are doing or thinking or how many models there are of the Ford vehicles. Or how big your parts department is. They don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
So speaking of not knowing any better.
Can I jump in?
Please do.
I thought we were going to change topics, and I have like a semi-related topic to this.
Please.
Because we had a vehicle in recently in Mazda. It was like a 2000 or like later 2000s vehicle. And it was in for a PZEV warranty. So it was an emissions related item. It goes to 150,000 miles or 15 years.
Right.
And
is that the whole Dieselgate bullshit?
No, it's not, because this is a Mazda vehicle and not a Volkswagen vehicle. So parts weren't available for it anymore. They're obsolete.
Yeah.
Even though it's technically covered.
So we had to put... so the part is available, but it's not available because there's no ETA.
Right.
It's like it might be available someday, but right now it's not available.
We call that being on back order.
Exactly. Well, but okay, fine.
Special order part. See you later.
Yeah.
But like, who knows if it's ever going to come in? Like, we called on it. They're like, yeah, I don't even know if they're going to make another production of this part. It was like super wishy-washy. So you had to put a locally procured parts in the vehicle, which we don't get to make any money on.
As far as markup on parts?
You can't mark it up.
Why?
Because it's not a Mazda part. You get money on labor, but because that's Mazda's warranty policy. Any sublet work, anything that comes from outside of Mazda, you cannot mark it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
think that
certain
we're like
recalls
that.
No, we're not. They mark it at
Yeah.
wherever. It doesn't matter if they got it from, the auto parts store down the street.
Now,
or...
if it was customer pay, we could mark it up.
Of course. No, I understand. You're speaking strictly warranty work.
Correct.
I get that. But warranty or not, I know that they mark it up for us, even if it is aftermarket.
So we even had some Mazda recalls that had special adhesives in it, and we had to get them locally, and I had to scan the receipt for every single one
We
to
have
show that that's how much we paid it for it, and that's how much Mazda's going to pay us.
Ford doesn't get like that, but we do have things in some of our Boltons that come out that say, locally obtained material or,
But I
locally
wonder
obtained
if
adhesive,
Sam-
chemical,
washers for
whatever.
the goddamn.
I wonder if
heat
Sam
shields.
has to show any
Insulators.
documentation for that.
No, she doesn't.
You're
Not-
sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
not typically. And, they'll say like, if it's a, they'll say, you need one tube of grease to do this repair, but it didn't take the entire tube of
Mm-hmm. It's
grease
good
to do
for
this
15
repair.
repairs
So,
or
bill it
whatever.
out at 20 cents per repair order or whatever. It'll say that, sort of
Yeah.
information in there. so.
Volkswagen does that.
But not always though. Some they make us we have to bill out for any job that requires silicone. We have to get a new tube of silicone for every single job.
Because you're supposed to use the entire tube of silicone no matter how big the...
This is not an issue for us. How can it
That is
was?
not
Yes.
the case. No, what it is that and you have to obviously it's warranty, so you have to turn that tube back in. But the reason for that is
Which you do every single time, Eric, right?
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. So you have to really turn that tube back in.
Sorry, babes.
Every single time. I love you, Jake. Because if that vehicle comes back with a leak of any kind and Ford recalls those parts, they want to make sure that you didn't use an expired tube of silicone for that. So that's why they make you charge out a tube every single time, and you have to turn it back in every single time.
That's what Volkswagen should do, because so that tube that reseals.
Yep. The green stuff.
What is it for? The gray stuff?
The green stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's to reseal the cam cover.
Yeah, valve cover.
It's
whatever.
It's like a gasket maker thing,
Yeah, but
non-anaerobic.
it's
Anaerobic sealant.
Yeah, anaerobic.
I'm not sure if you guys have it, but the sealer that we use, it never dries. So as you clamp
It's
it
a
down,
flange
and
sealant.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but they give us a whole tube of it. It's yay big.
Big old honking tube.
And it's like we use maybe
It's $139
Yeah,
for
it's
that
Like to
tube.
squeeze,
Yeah.
and
So-
you have to turn that back in.
No, we don't. We don't have to
okay.
turn it back in, but we don't.
That's good.
Yeah, well, we'll
You
let
get one with every repair.
we'll let
so you just
Ali
go back.
explain
So,
where
Will.
the frustration is.
Do you know how much of that tube you are warranty allowed to use?
Like 1/5 or something like
Yes. 1/5 of the tube.
Better make it count.
So every time we do one of those repairs, I write off $98.
Jeez.
that. Yep.
Holy fucking shit.
Yep.
How
And
does that make sense?
I've ran it up the
How
tree.
does that
Nobody
make
gives a
sense?
The
fuck.
gold
That's
flakes
fucking
inside that
stupid.
green sealing material.
It's not even that.
I've
It's
tried
a raise,
to
right?
get to Ron and our parts manager
Oh, no more
and
Ron.
say, no, we still have Ron. Pat's
Yeah.
on the Mazda side.
Pat, sorry.
Yeah, and Alex is the new Pat now. So Alex does both of those jobs. Anyways, hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
That. Okay, so I've tried with Ron to have you guys turn it in, and he's like, it's not going to happen. Like, I understand how your brain is working for it, because that's what warranty wants. So that's what I'm trying to save
Right.
the dealership from eating $100. But we just don't do it enough that we can rely that tube will not dry out and then have. That's what we should do. We should tell all of the Volkswagen technicians and all of the warranty administrators to tell them to only use a quarter of or a fifth of the tube, and then when all of that shit comes back because it failed, they should have to pay us for that and it'll cause enough complaints that they'll fix their fucking shit. So do you hear me? Do you hear me, people out there?
Allie fighting the good fight.
Volkswagen warranty administrators, Volkswagen technicians, make it happen.
Yep.
So you get
You heard it here.
Absolutely.
And that's when the podcast ended because we got sued by Volkswagen.
Sounds like you need to cool down a little bit there.
It's been a continual thing. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. You really need to cool down.
Yeah,
Bitch.
we do. That's not my topic, so I don't know what that means.
So are we talking about, which one are we talking about?
The cool
Cool
down.
down period.
cool.
Yeah, that's not
that's
mine.
me. That's
So
me.
you were
Okay.
looking at me
Michael.
like I didn't take the hint.
I was just, well, you didn't take the hint because you weren't reading the board.
It was his topic. He should have picked up on it.
So I get called up to the service drive to go for a road test with a customer, and they're complaining. They've got a new Explorer, and they're complaining about harsh shifting. So I get up and I start talking to the customer, and he's telling me that he just bought the vehicle and he thinks that it's having transmission problems. I said, well, like, you know, this is like a 20 Explorer. What do you mean you just bought it? He's like, oh, I bought it used.
Oh, he
and,
bought it used.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I bought it used, and you know, I have the 48-hour cool down period. So I'm just
Excuse
like,
me?
stop.
Fuck out of here. Goodbye.
So I'm telling a
he
story.
paid the $500 for the cool down contract.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's not a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
At some
because
places,
I've been
maybe.
offered, no, including ours.
Oh.
You have the option when you buy a new or used car and you sign a contract with the dealership, you have the option to purchase a cool down contract on top of your contract, which gives you X amount of days to have the vehicle. It's another $500 or $800, whatever it is, that if you decide that you don't want that vehicle, they will take the vehicle back and give you all your money back, or the bank or whatever. You won't be upside down or anything. They take it back and that's it.
So
There
anyway,
are stipulations though, right? Like you can't go over too many miles, and like
I've never read
you
that.
can't
much
take
into
it. You can't take it and put like 5,000 miles on the car and bring it
I
back
would
like
imagine
4 days later.
So I go out for the road test with this customer, and he's talking to me this whole time about how it's got these shifting issues, and meanwhile the thing's driving great, as they typically do.
Right. Did he have it in sport mode the whole time? He doesn't know what that is? Like,
So I'm talking with the customer, and he's telling me that, you know, his wife mainly drives it, and his wife is freaked out about the vehicle because a couple times it did these weird things, and he's just kind of nervous because it's only got
why
14.
is he there?
It's only got 14,000 miles on it. It's already had a couple owners, and he just kind of wonders why all the people got out of it. And he keeps telling me, you know, and it's okay because, you know, California state law, you know, I got 48 hours to turn it back in the dealership. And I'm like, well, you know,
Here we go.
I'm steering away from that. And then he's telling me that, you know, yeah, I took it to a trans shop down the street, and the guy told me that there's nothing
It's
wrong
under
with it.
warranty.
So I asked him, like, what do you mean you took it to a trans shop? Like was it at a dealership? No. You know, it's some independent shops. That way he's not biased or anything. And he hooked it up and he did all this stuff. And he said there's nothing wrong with it. Just kind of like you're telling me right now. I said,
Okay, so why are you here?
okay, so
motherfucker?
why are you here? Well, you know, I just, you know, California state law says I have 48 hours.
Oh,
California
Jesus
state law
Christ.
says I have 48 hours to. I said, first of all, sir, I don't know what dealership that you're at that allows that, because that's not the case. California state law is that there is no cool down period. Oh, really? I Googled it, and that's what everything that I read about. let me explain to you how Google works. It's not what you want. So he was completely misled about the entire situation, and lo and behold, the vehicle actually worked properly. So I probably drove with him for almost 10 miles. And, you know, in that period of time of driving 15, 20 minutes, I should have experienced something as what he was describing to me. So, you know, you just have to tell the customer, hey, listen, I know you think that you maybe bought a lemon. There's nothing wrong with this vehicle. Please enjoy this vehicle. You've had 2 people already tell you that there's nothing wrong with the car. Go out and drive the car. If a check engine light comes on, a wrench light comes on, or the thing stops shifting to 7th gear or whatever, come back and see me. But otherwise, it's going to be fine. You know, that like there will be something. There will be something to let you know that you need to come back to the dealership. And again, we do have some issues with these 10-speed transmissions, but this vehicle did not have any of those issues. They just weren't used to the 10-speed transmission. So, you know, yeah.
Well, before we go, I think Will had one more topic.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Oh my
one.
God. This is probably the best thing that's happened all week.
I mean, I don't even know how to introduce this story, to be honest.
I'll introduce this story then.
You go for it.
Okay, so during the week, one of the parts employees,
Ms.
Jeremy, texted me. He's like, I'm going to send you a video. You're welcome. It's a gift. I watched the video.
Oh!
Actually, Eric and Mike have also seen the video.
Oh my God.
And they don't know the whole context.
I do not know the whole
Of
context.
this video.
You
So
have my
from
response.
someone who has not fully known the story, do you guys want to describe the video?
I don't know if we can.
I'll describe it. There's
Well, I'm in the video.
Will's in the video.
where were
I
you?
can't post it. He
You
was
weren't the one
No,
doing
no.
the act.
No, that's Mimsy.
that's Mimsy.
Let me put this nicely because they may very well be listeners.
They're not. You don't have to be nice.
Okay, so there were a
I
couple
doubt it.
idiot
He still has a flip
technicians.
phone. He still has a flip phone. So
There were
Of course, Mimsy has a flip phone.
there were
Mimsy.
a couple of idiot technicians standing around a set of tires. I don't know why the tires were on the floor. There were multiple tires on the floor.
Okay.
With rims, and they
We'll
were
explain.
inflating.
Okay.
They were inflating the tires, and it looked like he was inflating one of them, and then he moved to the next one. I don't know if he overinflated that tire, but the sidewall all of a sudden decided to explode in the shop, and anyways, it popped. As soon as he
scared
moved,
everyone in the shop.
As soon as he moved to the next wheel. But anyways, go on. Tell us what happened. What exactly happened?
So,
Will.
So this parts guy,
Mimsy.
we'll call him
he wasn't
Mimsy.
even a technician.
No, he wasn't. But
Christ.
he's one of those people that still have a job because they're friends of a friend.
We all know somebody
And
like
so he's one of the parts guys, right?
Oh my God.
Wait, who?
He was saying you.
Oh, you're a fucking bitch. Fuck you.
But they try to find him things to do that he could possibly do.
And that he
You know,
can't
just to
fuck
kinda
up.
keep him
Things
busy.
that he can't fuck up.
right?
He wasn't even a tech.
No,
he
he's a
wasn't.
parts
He's a parts
employee.
employee.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was the
so-
first red flag.
And so they're having him build this bicycle for a display for one of our cars for a roof rack.
That's why the pop wasn't so loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he asked for some tools from me because he had to put the handlebars on. And then he's like, oh, I need to air up the tires. And I'm like, okay, here you go. But I was like, you want to be careful. If you see the video, you could actually hear me. Like, you want to be careful. The bike tires only take like 5 PSI, And so I give it to him. I give him the air chuck. And he goes down there. And he's like, I'm like, you got to turn it on so you can see how much you put in there. And it's shop
one
air,
of
so
those-
it's fairly quick air. that
160
happens.
PSI.
And so he goes,
Do bike tires really only hold 5 PSI?
yeah, they're like 5 or 8 PSI.
Oh, I had
like
no
very,
idea.
very low because they're so small. Like it doesn't take.
I
Doesn't
had no
take that
idea.
much.
My mountain bike
Because you
tire is like
shouldn't
22,
use-
28 PSI.
There's a reason why there's a whole pump. It's called a bike pump.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to an industrial size air compressor.
160 PSI air compressor.
So I give it to him and I tell him like, hey, we only put like 5 or 8 PSI in it. I give him the air chuck. He's like, oh, I'll just wing it. And he gets down there and he just goes.
Like a few times.
You could I was looking at it and I just turned away because he had just given me some other tools that I loaned him. I'm putting it away and all of a sudden I hear boom, and like we both look like what the hell just happened.
Nothing is fucked here.
Everything was
And the only thing he says is, I didn't do that.
Yeah. In the video, he's like, oh, I didn't do that.
Me. I'm like, what are you
fucking
talking
kidding me?
about?
What do you mean it wasn't you?
Little did he know.
Somebody literally has a video of
He has a
you
video of it.
pumping it up. Will telling him, hey, be careful. And okay,
Jesus.
And in the video, you could actually see the air escaping. Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
like
the
pressurized
shockwave
air
of
just
the-
like,
Exactly. Yeah, it was crazy.
unfortunately, I can't post that video, but
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Some people.
It's unfortunate because it's pretty enjoyable.
well, so when you sent it to me, or when Jeremy sent it to me, I I didn't notice that it was a bike tire. Like,
I
because
didn't either because it's leaning against the
it's leaning,
You don't
so the way the
see-
shot is.
It looked like, well, I described everything how it looked to me from my view.
So I thought that like a regular tire exploded and that like, I don't know, like the valve stem or some shit could like pop off of that and kill someone that's walking by.
Oh my God.
I don't know how it works, but that was my concern.
See, but again, it's like I knew that something was off because of the sound of the pop. It wasn't very loud. Like how a tire should. If a tire popped,
Yeah,
that shit,
it's loud.
it's deafening.
Yeah.
You're like, it will knock you on your ass, literally. And it wasn't that. So I was just like, that was a really small tire. Maybe it was a donut or something.
So now we have 2 liabilities at the dealership.
Dude, you have what was it? A technician or something? And a
4
liability?
technicians and a liability or
That's
something
right.
like that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, speaking. Well, no, definitely not. They're not liabilities. We love our sponsors.
No, we love them. They're
do.
assets,
They
actually.
are quite the big assets. Travis Ferret from Hit Distributing supplying us
Huge
with
assets.
Justice Brothers products. We also have
Ray Moon from El Ranchito Taco Shop in Lake Elsinore.
And Nick Lowridge from Matco Tools.
and thank you so much to Dale Follett for all of your IT support. You're the
Norman
best.
Glazier.
Go check him out at Twisted Builds, right?
That's it.
Norman Glazier at Stovacore_Metalworks on Instagram.
We'll be back right after these short messages.
Bye. I can hear the music. I don't have headphones.
Mike, what are you eating? That looks amazing.
Oh, this? It's just a delicious Elsinore burrito from El Ranchito Taco Shop.
Is that nacho cheese sauce and hot Cheetos?
Nacho cheese, hot Cheetos, and their mouth-watering carne asada. And I'm dipping it in their creamy guac.
Creamy guac. Yum.
Giggity.
I guess this is a great time to remind everyone that if they're ever in the Inland Empire area, visit Ray at El Ranchito Taco Shop.
Yeah, totally. Check them out on Facebook.com/Ranchito Elsinore.
Or on their Instagram at Ranchito Elsinore.
Now I want me some Elsinore burrito and some of that creamy guac.
Giggity.
I can always give you some of my creamy guac, Jake. Just ask.
El Ranchito Taco Shop, Lake Elsinore.
More than just great Mexican food. Who's that I hear?
Welcome back from Customer State Podcast.
What's up, fuckers?
Oh, we have a special guest.
No, special guest we have.
Special guest we have. Concentrate your best.
Welcome back.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Hi, fuckers. You missed me in the first half.
We missed Jacob.
We missed you. Where were you?
And that schmexy voice.
I was getting rubbed down by a physical therapist.
that bitch.
Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a girl.
Was she hot?
She was very hot.
It wasn't Helga this time?
It was not Helga this time.
Yay!
Were her
To
titties
that,
on your back?
To
We
that,
should
I say
celebrate.
cheers. She didn't have any boobs. Very flat.
That makes me want a hot dog.
So before we lead into anything, I want to start it off with random shenanigans.
Take a drink.
So, oh, I'm sorry. Drink I must have.
You don't want me to do it.
Oh, that's good shit. Okay.
Hey, Georgie.
Stop it.
We all float down here.
Oh my god. I shouldn't have reacted to that.
Popcorn.
So
This is fine.
at the physical therapist office, she showed me how to do a pyroformis stretch, which is just knee over.
Something to do
Is
with
that
fire.
a penis thing?
No, it's
Oh,
a
Jesus.
muscle. It's sciatic. but it's
Swing and a miss.
but it's one knee up and then the other leg thrown over, and you pull that knee towards the opposite hip, and
Oh,
it just
okay.
stretches
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
muscle, that pyroformis stretch.
You have to show me
That's
that
what I
one.
call it too.
It's good shit. And keep in mind, she's a blonde, she's cute, so paint that picture. It's just me and her in the room while she's showing me how to do these stretches. And I pull my knee to my chest and I rip a fat fart.
Oh my god!
Didn't even feel it coming. Just happened. But that's not the best part. Because I'm fucking embarrassed.
No, that's not the best part.
That's not the best part. And because I'm embarrassed as shit, I go, oh, I'm sorry. That was me.
Yeah, you think?
You could have.
And what no. And what happened from that point is after I said, oh, I'm sorry, that was me, the AOL dial tone went through my brain. I paused, and my conscience went, what the fuck did you just say?
Oh my god. She obviously wasn't professional and good about it.
Oh, she laughed. She laughed, and I laughed, cried, and, you know, when it was all over, and she said, okay, we'll go to the front desk and make your next appointment. I got, I ain't come the fuck back here.
Let me go get the can of Lysol and air freshener.
I can't be seen here ever again.
Oh my god.
It was like Mimsy's. That wasn't me. I blew up the tire, but that wasn't me.
I think the only thing that might have been my saving grace is you still have to wear masks. So
It filtered out the stain.
yeah, it either filtered it or it got trapped inside, one or the other.
It was your good looks and charm for sure.
It was fucking embarrassing. And it wasn't even like stuttering. It was just like, oh, I'm sorry, that was me.
Like it just word vomit.
Straight out.
Yeah, it's your natural reaction, like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
least
that
you
was me.
didn't
We're the only
I
two
farted.
fucking people in here.
No shit.
Oh my god.
Well, at least you didn't try to blame it on the other person that wasn't in the room.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it clearly wasn't me. It must have been you.
Oh, you should have blamed it on the dog that wasn't there.
Yeah.
That
At
would have
least
been
you were
funny.
in a situation where it's like they come across that kind
Yes,
of
they
thing
do.
fairly often because of, you know, the stretches and the positions that they
Yep.
put you in and stuff like that.
Normal bodily
Now-
functions.
For me, on the other hand, back in the day, I used to work for the cable company.
Okay.
Yeah, the local cable company here. And I was so embarrassed because I had farted in front of a customer. I was like on all fours behind a TV. And
Trying to plug that cable in,
Yeah.
exerting a bunch of guttural strength.
and she's you know, lady, she's sitting on the couch and I'm behind the TV and I'm trying to do my work. And it was one of those where you let one go, just like we used, you know, you didn't see it coming. And then it happened. And then I clinched up and it was just like a bunch of little.
Trying to stop it from happening.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
You're laughing, trying not to, and more is coming.
It's when you grab
Yeah.
a balloon knot and it goes.
Yeah. Like, I'm literally so embarrassed of the whole situation. I don't say a fucking word. Like, I just stay behind the TV, finish
hide
my
there
work,
as long as possible.
and I get out, and this is the kicker. 2 days later, my supervisor pulls me aside. She called to complain
That you
that I farted in her house.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, she doesn't fart in her
Yeah,
house.
I guess not. You know, it was one of those things.
It's like that.
You should have brought some Nog Champa with you.
I don't know what that is.
It's the incense stick.
Hippie incense.
Oh yeah.
Nog Champa.
It's it's an
You were
incense
definitely in a
flavor.
better situation than I was.
Yeah, still super embarrassing.
You had scared farts. Like
Yeah,
they-
no, it was terrifying.
Sorry, ma'am. That was your router booting up.
Well,
That's
it's
how
got
you
this
know it
odd
works.
odor about it. Yes, first time burn off.
Electrical
Yeah.
fire. So before we move on, what did I miss, guys? What did you talk about?
You'll have to listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
My fucking God.
listen to the
See,
podcast.
oil life going down quickly, rich slob, cool down period, and Mimsy.
you know Mimsy.
I pretty much covered it.
You pretty much covered it.
Jesus.
I'll fill you in.
Fair enough.
Indeed.
I missed you guys though.
We missed you too.
We miss you too.
Did you do the live?
No.
Oh,
No.
you didn't do the live this. Okay.
No.
We were chatting with Will, catching up, and
But you did manage to give us the camera, and Allie was
Yes.
able to hook that up. Very.
I did the camera, you guys.
well.
The camera thing.
Hopefully it works.
It seems like it's working. I can see us.
Are we recording?
Quite clear. Yes.
Oh, that's not my
Oh
fault. if that
my
doesn't-
god! No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, you got me.
It's very believable.
Do you notice how I took the dog toy and threw it over there?
Your dog owns me, is what I'm pretty sure she believes.
Oh yeah, she owns all of you guys.
She's putting her butt on me.
That's not butt.
It-
That's front
It's
butt.
pretty close.
Close enough.
all right. So
Automotive podcast.
and
Others.
you want to know what
cetera.
really grinds my gears?
what,
Lack
Michael?
of lubrication.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Well,
fair.
Yeah, that'll grind any gears.
Grind it right down.
So we've kind of
Lube is
touched
your
on some of this stuff before, but when a customer comes in and they want to talk to the technician, or you're on a road test with a customer and they start trying to speak your language.
Jack Talk Tech. Jack Talk Tech very well.
Yeah. So my
Thank you for
favorite
those of you who
is
got it.
I went on a road test with a customer, and the customer believes that they're having a transmission problem, and there's actually nothing wrong with this vehicle.
It's the synchros.
Well, yeah, what the customer is experiencing is totally normal operation for this brand new vehicle that they own. However, you know, his father used to own a car lot back in the day, and all he did was flip cars, and so he had this experience of breaking down with vehicles. And he says, well, you know, his Astro van had a map sensor, and when it started acting up like this, the map sensor was bad. But you know, this new vehicle, it probably doesn't even have a map sensor anymore, so that, you know, he thinks it's something in the transmission. It's either something with the torque converter or one of the bands inside the transmission. I said,
I'm
first
getting
of all,
frustrated just hearing you tell.
this is legitimately the way the conversation happened inside the vehicle during the road test. And I said, first of all, sir, this vehicle absolutely has a map sensor. Second of all, this
Do you know what that is?
manifold absolute
pressure.
pressure sensor.
I knew that.
Mass airflow sensor.
No,
No, that's
it's
a MAF.
That's a map
Yeah.
sensor.
Yeah.
Manifold absolute pressure sensor detects the pressure or lack thereof in case of a vacuum inside of the intake manifold. COA.
She's fine. Go, keep going.
We're going on the road test, and he tries to tell me exactly what's, you know, happening with the vehicle, and he tries to tell me, well, it's got to be something with the torque converter or one of the bands or something like that.
I don't think my flux capacitor is working at optimum speed.
I said, first of
Phasers
all,
were not set to stun.
first of all, we don't have any bands in any of our modern transmissions. That's not a thing anymore. There's no adjustments for that anymore. He asked me about adjusting the throttle linkage. I said, it's all electronic. There's no throttle linkage. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Oh, okay. Well, I just want to make sure that everything's okay because, I just don't want to get stranded on the side of the road. I said, sir, I've driven this vehicle about 11 miles with you, on the freeway and around surface streets. Like, everything feels absolutely fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the vehicle. And it just really irks me when somebody comes through with, like, they know three words of car components, and they try to use all those 3 words in a sentence with you to let you know that they know what they're talking about, and they don't want to get
I try to do
messed
that
around.
with Will all
I
the
know
time.
what's happening. I know what's going on here, and no matter what, they don't know what's going on, and it just frustrates you more with you trying to let me know that you know what's going on, even though you don't know what's going on. And actually, Eric, you had a similar situation with somebody on the forums.
I did.
Yeah. You remember that thing that you just texted me? It was yesterday, this morning, about how they.
Oh
looked
my
on the
God!
forums?
Yes, I have a
Thank
customer.
you.
Hashtag sell the bell. I have a customer who he's got a GT350, and it's a beautiful car, low mileage, but he had a chronic transmission leak.
Chronic.
Yeah,
Chronic.
2001.
The chronic.
420.
it had been tried to be repaired multiple times while it was still under warranty, and the techs just kept shotgunning parts at it from the
Not at our dealership. Not at our dealership.
They were shotgunning parts at it, hoping to fix the transit.
Yep.
And,
Nothing is fucked here.
parts cannon, go! and Mikey and I actually figured it out together. It ended up being a really small seal.
Well, Eric, I asked Eric to look at my shaft.
I did look at your shaft. It was a little crooked.
It was a little crooked.
It had a curve upwards.
Yaw to the left, right, or I guess you would call that northeast, maybe.
It curved to the up
northwest.
direction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was causing the transmission fluid to leak. Long story short, we replaced the transmission for him, but he randomly runs into issues with this, and he's done it before. He'll send me, Well, and he does exactly what that customer did. Well, I think it might be this. So he said after he picked it up, it started misfiring on this cylinder and this cylinder, and it's running really rich on this bank. So I think it's sucking in air from before the intake, and which completely contradicts itself.
Sucking in air from before the intake.
Yeah, right. Isn't that what it's supposed to do? Anyways.
We'll just gloss over that one.
Yeah, sounds like your car is working.
Yeah, right. I didn't even respond. I didn't respond because I was on vacation. I was just rolling my eyes. And so then he says, it might be a cracked intake manifold. And I'm like, first of all, how did you come up with that conclusion? And secondly, please don't tell me you're on the forums. And he responded like, I was on the forums, LOL. And I'm like, let me tell you something. I said, whenever you mention the forums, Google, YouTube, the internet, anything like that, when you're talking about your vehicle and what you found out online, your mechanic or technician is automatically laughing on you at you from the inside, or they're,
Tuning you out.
Tuning you out. Exactly. Thank you. And I'm telling you this because you're a friend, and I want you to stop doing that. He ended up just like, I didn't even tell you. He came back at me because I didn't respond to that one either. After he responded back a few days later, and he goes, what about a crankshaft relearn? Again, on the forums. And I'm like, stop. Please.
So crankshaft positions.
The biggest thing is, like, I appreciate people trying to do their education and their research and all that kind of stuff.
But go to a reliable source.
But you've brought it to me.
Name me one famous scientist that comes out and says, it's this, unless they know.
Louis Pasteur.
What?
Oh,
Your dog just imploded.
No, I mean, it's all good and well that they are trying to learn and trying to educate themselves and trying to research their vehicles and things like that. But there's a lot of misinformation on the internet.
What? There is?
Wow, that was a very broad statement. Meant to be. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet about a bunch of things.
Wikipedia is really good, bro.
So,
it kind of is.
What Eric was touching on, though, is that when you come to me and you tell me, well, I found that it's, I looked online and it's either this, or this. Immediately, I don't care. If you're trying to take my job away from me and telling me what parts to replace, what is the point? Take it down the street to some other shop. Like, let me do my job and figure out what's going on with this vehicle and like learn something for myself or practice my trade and skill.
Well, and that's how the conversation
don't
went
come
too.
to me with this information. I don't care. I don't care what Joe Schmo says on some forum. He's not me. It doesn't matter. If you want me to replace those parts, I'll replace those parts for you. No problem. If it fixes the vehicle, great. If not, well, you'll come back.
That's exactly how the conversation went, though, because he was like, hey, can I bring in my car today for you to do the crankshaft relearn procedure? I said, and then can I wait for it? I said, I would rather you drop it off so that we can properly diagnose the vehicle and go from there. I said, because it may be that or it may be something else. I don't know. And he had, of course, ended up dropping off the vehicle so we could properly diagnose.
Did you end up having time to look at it?
I did. I did.
Do you know what happened with
No, I didn't. It had the codes in there for the misfires in cylinders 1 and 8 as well.
gonna need a relearn. You know that, right?
Hashtag 6006.
So it had the misfires for cylinders 1 and 8, and it had the random misfire code, and I think it did have a lean condition as well. But mind you,
It's getting too much air from in front of the intake.
from in front of the intake, right?
It's just thumping too much, bud.
Mind you, the damn thing's straight piped for one, and two, he had a tuner in it. So
That's not warranty.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
he's already out of warranty. He's out of warranty. The thing has no
Didn't hear a
warranty
damn
at all.
thing.
So I actually ended up clearing the cam, which is the keep alive memory that stores the air and fuel ratios. Mm-hmm. And I ended up. And I also performed the misfire profile relearn procedure.
Misfire profile, neutral profile,
Correction.
neutral profile, correction, relearn,
Yes.
correction.
So that's like an MP.
And
Some acronym.
yeah, and I drove it and it was fine. And I shipped it to him. Oh, and I replaced his coolant bottle because it was disintegrating under my fingernails. Only to find out his water pump is leaking too.
Cool beans.
I didn't do it.
Well, he's like, how did you not notice that last time that I brought it to you? But then he prefaced, or he after he sent that message, he said, oh, and I'm totally baked right now.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Everything you said is negated by your stony baloney attitude.
I thought I recognized an odd smell in that car.
You know, and that's fine. You know, you do you. I don't partake, but that's fine.
Yeah, me neither.
But moving on.
Fighting
Do you
the
feel
factory.
the same way, Will, about the forums and all of that stuff?
People who say,
Does
I mean, yes, I do, but like, there's so much misinformation out there. If you're intelligent enough to know what to really pay attention to and what not to, it's definitely helpful. And you saw I have a YouTube certified patch.
yes,
on my toolbox.
nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Before I had any of my formal training with Volkswagen, that was my go-to. Go to YouTube. That's how I learned how to do most of the
Hey,
stuff.
I still use YouTube once in a while.
You know
it
what?
can be helpful.
You know what I tell people sometimes? Remember that the guy that refurbishes the wheels on the lot? He asked me how to jumpstart a Tesla.
Excuse me.
Said, I have no idea. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, YouTube.
Yeah.
I got no idea. Google. I have no idea, dude.
Do you
I'd like
want
to see that video.
He wants to jump start.
Yes,
Tesla, 'cause
that's
it
what
needs to
that's
start
what they asked for.
The okay.
Yeah. I was gonna tell him, just find a hill,
Yeah.
put it in first gear, and then roll it down the hill, pop the
pop the
clutch,
clutch.
and then
Second
off you
gear.
go.
When you're second gear for sure.
I'll use first.
Oh, what the hell?
Where's your sense of adventure, Eric?
No. Launch myself in the steering wheel. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Anyways.
Let's go to the update because I think I want to save my topic for later date because I want to get to comebacks as well.
What update? There's no update on there.
Yeah, there.
Oh,
You have to
I see
read
it
all
now.
of the words.
It is the very last word in that sentence.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 4 things in there. Anyway, so we have.
Why are we talking about this? That's not really like who the fuck cares about that?
I think it's pretty interesting.
No.
Okay, Eric,
Go for it.
your topic. Let's hear what you have to say.
Fighting the factory.
I like that.
No. Okay. I wanted to talk about
No,
comebacks.
she wanted to save it.
Yeah.
Comebacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on her back.
That's
We're talking about Kim Kardashian.
oh my god.
We've got a solid 10 minutes left at least to talk about
That's right.
comebacks.
I think
so
that's
let's
a
do
good
that,
solid
please. Yeah, that's a good
topic.
one.
Mikey likes
It's a-
talking about the red sheets.
It's a very sensitive subject. You can hear from Eric's tone about the red
It's
sheets.
not me.
Okay.
It's funny.
Do you know what he means when he says red sheets?
I have no idea.
Okay.
There's an importance
Mikey.
to it.
Tell him, Mikey.
Okay, so at our dealership, if you have a comeback or a recheck within a certain period of time or mileage, there is a piece of paper that is stapled on the end of it.
It's a bright red piece
that-
of paper.
It's just a piece of paper.
It's a shame
that
piece
is a
of paper.
form
Shame.
that is like
shame.
what was the original repair order, what was the original repair order number, what was the original repair order date, what was it in for, why did it come back,
Was
what
the shop foreman
actions were
informed?
taken, was the shop foreman informed, was the customer informed, what all this sort of stuff. And it just happens to be on a red piece of paper so that it's
Let
not
you know you fucked up.
it's not easily missed in the other stack of paperwork that is also stapled to the repair order because it has to be filled out by either the shop foreman or the service manager, and it has to be signed by either the shop foreman or the service manager. And it is a important piece of information it's not to scold the technician or embarrass the technician or anything like that. It's
Joke's on you.
Coincidentally, it does exactly that.
well, you want to do your job better next time so that you don't get that red piece of paper, right?
Not really. Don't give a fuck.
I'll make it bright orange next time.
Okay, that's fine. No, I'm kidding. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't really
Again,
get comebacks,
again,
so.
it's not meant to like embarrass somebody. It's an important piece of
That's
paper.
exactly
So we
what
need
it
to
is.
make sure that this form is filled out
Right.
because it's a process that has to be done by the dealership because we have a repeat repair in a certain time frame, right? So the biggest problem is that people don't like letting someone know that this is a vehicle that's come back within 6 months or 6,000 miles for the same concern. Whether it's the service advisor that doesn't catch it or doesn't bother to let somebody know, or the technician that doesn't catch it or doesn't, bother to let somebody know. But, I just, the recheck thing was a big problem for me. It was always sort of the fact that, I don't want somebody else looking at my recheck because I don't want them to
know how badly he fucked up.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I don't want somebody to know how badly I made a mistake. And that's why I'm supposed to be involved as the shop foreman in those, as to where you can't cover your tracks. If it was a legitimate, like you literally swung and missed at this, that needs to be known for a multitude of reasons. But at the other point on that spectrum is that if you got a failed part, or you contacted hotline and hotline told you to replace this and that didn't fix it, and you have documentation that says that, it's not your problem. You did everything that was told to you. So again, it's always CYA. Write everything in your story, put all your documentation down, all those sort of things. The recheck process isn't necessarily to scold you or to embarrass you. It's to make sure that all the processes are being followed, or if in the future that there is something that we missed last time, we can make sure that we got it the next time. Things like that. It's the same sort of thing. For like a general transmission repair that we do, I typically like to road test the vehicle at least 10 miles myself after I overhaul transmission. But we'll also go through and give it to an advisor or a porter to drive for another 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, whatever it may be, just to make sure that everything is fine before we release it to the customer, because the customer spends more time in the seat than we can ever do at the dealership. So as much as you're trying to do to prevent a potential recheck or potential repeat repair before you release the customer to the vehicle, we try to document all that stuff. And that's kind of what the process of the recheck sheet is for, is to make sure that all that stuff was done to ensure that nothing bad could happen, or everything was done possible, to prevent this vehicle from coming back.
Do you see the dead horse on the ground over there? It's been beaten with the stick repeatedly over and over and over.
And like I said, we're going to move on to the next.
The carcass is
level of
disintegrating over here.
Topic of conversation. Yeah. Eric,
coincidentally, I have one of those right now. That wasn't mine. So annoying having to check somebody else's shit.
So elaborate.
Do I have to?
Please.
So, this vehicle came in. It was a very high mileage vehicle, customer pay. You wouldn't have been able to tell that it was a high mileage vehicle, though, because he takes care of it. I'm talking about almost 300,000 miles.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
And the truck is beautiful. It came in for some repairs. I performed those repairs. It came back a few days later because all of a sudden now there was an oil leak. Like, well, I didn't do anything with the oil system, but okay. So I perform an inspection. I'm like, oh, really bad coincidence. So sorry this happened, but your injector seals are leaking. Those are on this other side. All I did was replace the exhaust manifolds. So we sold them injector seals on that one bank that was leaking. 2 of them were leaking. I was like, we need to do all 4. Excuse me.
You're excused.
And so I unfortunately was terribly busy at the time, and I delegated the work to another technician, a seasoned technician who, again, this is gravy work. It's easy peasy, straightforward. You remove the bolts, you pull the injectors out, you replace the seals, you put the injectors back in, you're done. Great. Shipped the vehicle, came back the next day. It's still leaking oil. It's dripping on my driveway. Well, shit, that's weird. Let me go look at it. I go look at it. One of the seals was damaged on installation, like straight up torn. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we end up replacing the seal. We ship it again. But when I gave the ticket to the technician that did the repair originally, because I'm not doing that for free, I said, replace the seal. I said, and let's put 20 to 30 miles on this truck. Wash the engine. Let's make sure it's not leaking anymore and ship it. Okay, was the response I got. I didn't even see the truck ever get pulled in. Supposedly repair was done. I'm like, all right, cool.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
Don't even get me started. Came back the next day, which is today. Again, and the writer brings me the sheet. Guess who's back?
Back again.
Thank you. I'm glad you did that.
Customers.
I
back.
said, no, they better not be.
Hello,
They're like,
friend.
yep. And it's got it.
Oil leak.
Bright red sheet stapled to the back of it. He says it's leaking oil still. I'm like, the fuck it is. And I went over to the service drive and I look on it. Now, mind you, it had been sitting there
Why did
already
it come back to you?
because I originally had received the ticket, but I delegated it to someone else. I do that in my department sometimes. If something comes to me and I'm inundated with work, I'll delegate it to the one of the other technicians in the department. Delegate. And so I went over to check the truck. Mind you, it had already been sitting on the service drive for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And I go and look under the truck. And
Where are the porters?
what porters? Are you kidding me? What porters, please?
Oh God, I cracked myself up.
Answer
You
side.
didn't tell me you were a comedian.
I'll be here all week.
So I went and
Answer
looked.
science still can't answer. Get your leg off of me. It's hot in here.
My leg needs to stretch.
I'm having marital issues over here.
I'll turn the air conditioning on when we done.
So I went and looked under the truck. There was literally a single drop of oil underneath the truck after sitting there for that long.
Good Lord.
I'm like, well, that to me alone tells me it might just be residual. Right. So I go and I hop on top of the engine and I look.
Hop on top.
I did.
Power top.
No, definitely not. Power bottom. Hashtag something about
Sell the bell.
And I did a quick inspection. It was just a quick inspection. I'm like, I don't see anything leaking up here. I'm pretty sure it was just residual. But at the same time, it also didn't look like the engine hadn't been washed like I asked it to be. So I get to next week on Monday, because today is Friday, look at that truck and wash it and drive it for 30 to 40 miles to ensure that it isn't leaking anywhere else, because somebody does not know how to do their job properly.
about a tree fitter.
And yes, this person may very well listen, and I'm calling you out. Don't care.
Don't care.
Anyhow,
So, just a question for you two. What is your guys's, like, what's the protocol for comebacks for you? What's the time period? Like, is it like a standard for us is a 1 year? Like, it's no matter how many miles. If 1 year,
6 months, 6,000 miles.
So Ford recheck is a little bit less. No, I keep forgetting. Ford recheck is, I think, less stringent than our recheck policy. Our recheck policy is like 6 months, 6,000 miles. Ford, I think, is 12 months, 12,000 miles.
Are you
maybe I
doing
have
a
that vice
whichever
versa.
comes first situation there?
Yeah. And no matter what,
1 year, no matter how many miles.
well, I had made the
Not
argument.
necessarily. It would be technically the opposite, right? Because if they drive more than 6,000 miles, but it's within the 6 month time frame, that could still technically qualify.
If I remember correctly, our internal policy is 6 months, 6,000 miles, and Ford policy is 12 months, 12,000 miles. However, I had made the argument to our warranty administrator, our lovely warranty administrator, Sam,
Hi, Sammy.
that I feel like we should adhere to the 6 month, 6,000 mile. And again, it's not to let somebody know they fucked up or whatever. It's just like, hey, there was an issue with this. Maybe somebody else in the future might run into the same problem and think that this repair would fix it, but it's actually this repair that fixes it. So like we should have documentation on it. Sometimes it is to screw somebody, but it's not always that way. And it's just another process, just like all the out mileage has to be written on the repair order, and you have to clock in on the repair order whenever you're working on the vehicle and stuff like that. It's just another shop process that has to be followed every single time. It's just a way to protect the dealership, protect the people that work in the dealership, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that go on that I don't agree with as far as like corporate policies and things like that. But this is just one of those things that
It's just one of those days.
yeah. So
everybody's
more
gotta-
specifically, how long are you married to a car? Is what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Like, are you? Because like for us, it's 12 months. Yeah, we're married to a car if it comes back within the year.
for the same concern.
No, for any concern.
Really?
Well, that's
because you're bumper to bumper though, right?
We're bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
But it technically should be for the same concern.
So if
but
it
we
came
still
in
get
for-
it. We still get it. And
So if it came in for an AC concern in January, but it comes back in August for a check engine
It
light,
typically
it still
goes
comes
back
back.
to-
Do you feel like
We don't
that's
have
fair?
anything like that. Because we're departmentalized. So
I feel that I mean, I never had a problem with it for like a year, but just like recently, this is where I was getting at is. So we had this one customer bought a brand new car, brand new GTI, and from the factory you could tell that the dash up by the window was nicked, like somebody hit it with a razor blade. It was definitely done from the factory. The car had 10 miles on it whenever I replaced the dash in that car.
wow.
That was 2 years ago. Now, Monday come around, he brought the car back complaining that his tweeter doesn't work in the A-pillar.
Oh, fucking blow me.
2 years ago.
No.
And so-
important.
They put my number on it. They put it on the board.
No, not
And I go in there.
not that fact. That's fine
Oh,
that
I
it's
was like,
important.
the
I'm
Twitter.
saying 2 years
Yeah.
for that.
Oh, 2 years.
Fucking blow me.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yes, you're right.
So I look on the board and I read it and I'm like, normally I wouldn't like think twice about it, even if it was, because it's like money's money, right?
Right, yeah.
But I'm right now, even with the last couple months, I've been backlogged like crazy. I still have like another 2 weeks worth of work that I can't even touch right now.
Had he been in for prior services or any other reasons within those 2 years?
So this is again, this is where it gets good, right? This is where it gets good. So I'm like, what? Why is like I went to the service writer. I'm not going to name names, but I went to him. And
You
I
can
was
tell me after.
Yeah.
HJ.
And I'm like, what's going on with this? I haven't worked, I have
I
never
said
worked on this car.
HJRF.
I looked at the history. I don't see any of my history on this car. Why does it have my number on it? Mostly because like it's going to be sitting there for weeks before I could even look at it. It should just go in the drawer.
So they
So
typically
somebody,
only
the
pre-assign.
next available
Right.
person could look at it.
They
Yeah.
typically
So-
only pre-assign numbers when that's your baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I asked him what's going on with it. He's like, "Oh, you replaced the dash like 2 years ago in that car," and I instantly remembered the car once he mentioned that. But I was like,
right.
"That's 2 years ago."
Yeah.
And even the
Gives a
service
shit.
manager was there, and he agreed with me. He's like, "Yeah, that goes in the drawer." Like what? So after we went through all that, we put it back in the drawer. Comes to find out that the tweeter was already replaced, just like last week.
What?
And
By
I'm
a
like,
different tech.
Yeah, by a different tech.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, so that goes back to him.
Right. Why wouldn't
Right,
you
why-
check
why-
that? Why did you go 2 years
And so
back?
this is where it comes down to where it got it. He promised he ordered a tweeter for the car, and then he went up to another tech and said, "Hey, I'm not going to marry you to this car. Can you put the speaker in for me?"
Oh, fuck you.
And-
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. So like I'm like, I still like it was just. I get he was just trying to get the customer out. I understand that, but it shouldn't come back to me
No.
at that point.
He shouldn't have done that.
So-
He needed to
It
check
should have just
thoroughly.
gone to the next available
How
person.
do you skip over that though? And
So then-
automatically
It's
go
really
back 2
easy to look at
years ago?
service history in our
So
DMS.
then I talked to him
so-
again, and I'm
same.
like, "This goes back to so and so."
It's easy to look
You
at
know?
ours too.
And then he was out. He wasn't there. And then it came down to my manager came and talked to me. He was like, "Hey, can you look at this car?" And I'm like, "I'm already backlogged."
You tell me what the
the
priority
manager
is.
comes to me
you know.
and asks me to do something. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm just going
Of
to do
course,
it.
yeah.
Right?
You're
So
a
I
good
grab
employee.
the car. I grab the car. I pull it in, and he goes. He ends up telling me that they think because I did the dash 2 years ago, I forgot to connect the tweeter in the car.
Would it have
But it
taken
was
2 years to realize that?
Yes,
Fuck out of here.
and the speaker was already replaced.
It was already
Go fuck
replaced.
yourself.
So
and the best part,
it wouldn't be.
the best part is whenever I took it all apart to diagnose what was going on,
He didn't plug it in.
he didn't plug it in.
Ah!
He didn't plug it in.
Fuck the
I
tech.
plugged it in, but it worked right away.
Fuck
Yeah.
the tech. Fuck the advisor.
I mean, I charged the dealership 2 hours for that.
Good. Good for you.
And Mark was okay.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah, we can.
That's bullshit.
It's fine.
Before we end this, Mike, how you were saying how to cover or protect the interest of the dealership.
Yeah.
Since you've been in the industry long enough and you know how, ROs are supposed to be written, what's supposed to be on the RO, the 3 C's, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God, my
than,
life is the 3 C's.
you're more than welcome to answer this as well if you'd like. Even you will. I'm curious if you know the answer to this. According to the California Bureau of Automotive Repair,
The bar.
the bar, not to be confused with lawyers, do you legally have to show your in-house labor rate on the RO for the customer?
No.
Correct. That is something that I actually did not know.
No, the labor rate is never something that you discuss. And when you quote a job to a customer, you're not really supposed to, according to everything that I've been told, you're not supposed to break it down as this is the labor and this is the parts. It's this much to repair the vehicle.
Correct.
And if the customer wants to get into it more than that, then that's when you use your discretion to see what you want to divulge. However, it is not your job to tell the person how many labor hours are involved in it or what your labor rate is. It is this much to repair your car. End of discussion.
Yep.
It's not your obligation to share that information.
What did I say? Prerogative? What did I
You
say?
said job, but I felt like it was more.
Now,
you're not
Clarification.
obligated to share that information.
Now, there are certain shops that actually legally have to, though.
Such as?
I forget the types of shops, but it's also, do you have to have the door date on the RO
What is a door date? What do you mean by door date?
when the car comes in?
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely.
What?
You actually do not legally have to post that anywhere on the RO. The door date.
It's
Why
automatically
wouldn't you, though?
populated
Yeah,
on,
why
on most
wouldn't
of
you?
them.
I
know,
feel
but
like for
that's-
legal reasons, you should have it.
But however, it's right on the bar webpage. Door date is not required on California repair
Who the
orders.
fuck cares? Fuck out. No one fucking cares. Fuck out of here. Only the Karens that are fighting that give a shit about that.
So,
Jake, that was a very interesting set of tidbits that you had there.
yeah. That was a nice set of titties there.
I was thinking tiddlywinks.
My car's AC hasn't worked for 3 times. It's a lemon.
Oh God.
Oh, I was going to relate to something there and I forgot.
You know what time it
That's
is?
because we said titties.
It's time to go.
I know, I got distracted.
And thank our sponsors.
We do have to thank our sponsors.
Oh, that beautiful bean footage.
Indeed. Thank you.
Bean footage?
Beans.
Yeah, he's rolling that beautiful bean footage.
What the fuck is bean footage?
Oh my god, you've never seen the
Nobody
Bush's
knows
big
what
bean.
you're talking
Raise
about,
your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Will.
Shut up, Will.
I know Jake knows. Okay,
20% of us raised our hands.
you guys, follow us on Facebook.
Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, we even have a TikTok that we have one video on.
We do.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we
You
do.
did like it, Will.
Thank you to the Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne.
Indeed.
You know what? Just search us on wherever you are. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You don't
Customer
need to know the
States
exact
Podcast.
name.
No, they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
Customer States Podcast anywhere. You'll find us.
But
We
if
promise.
you want to give us money,
It's PayPal.
It is
Customer States
PayPal.
Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
Also, thank
Thank you to Dale Follett,
Nick Lowridge,
Chaz Terrace,
Raymond,
Dale Follett,
Norman Glazer,
Luke.
Tyler
Tyler Perry.
Kotlerick.
who's that?
He's
Oh,
our other
Tyler,
sponsor,
you're
Tyler Kotlerick.
amazing.
Yeah.
I knew that. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about our regular sponsors.
Bitch.
Thank you to Bruce Vane for this beautiful music
Already
that you
said
hear
that.
right now.
Norm Glazer.
Well, I think he deserves to be. We play his music a lot, so.
Thank you to Sylvia and Lisa.
Oh, the mothers.
The Mamas.
What are your mother's
The
names?
podcast mommy,
Everyone say their mother's names. Go.
Elaine.
Robin.
Linda.
There we go. All the podcast mommies who brought us here today.
And
Thank you, thank you.
And with that, we say,
see you next week, fuckers.
5 bitches.
Love you.
Bye.
Hi, this is Mike Sarah from Customer States. Matco Tools is one of the best tool companies in the industry, and Nick Lowridge is one of the best Matco tool distributors. Nick can get me anything I need for the shop or for at home. From oil drain pans to beef jerky, Nick's got what I need on tap. Nick works in the Thousand Oaks, California area, and you too can get whatever you need by calling him at 805-796-7323. And if you're not in that area, call him anyway and tell him you heard about him from the Customer States podcast. And then you can hop on to matcotools.com and find a Matco Tools distributor near you. Matco Tools. Service, trust, results.